As politicians prepare for Copenhagen in December, there's not much progress on how to solve the problems of climate change. There's still widespread disagreement about whether it's occurring and, if so, why. But scientists take their cues from the natural world. Birds are migrating earlier. Plants grow where they've never been seen before, while glaciers that have lasted for thousands of years are retreating every year. Even backyard lizards have a story to tell.
Lizards are really susceptible to the local climate. The ones we look at rely on annual plants to feed on, and the annual plants only flower and are available for them to feed in wet spring times. We've been looking at this group of sleeping lizards for over 28 years now. We've seen a cycle of droughts during the 1980s, really wet years during the 1990s, and then recently we've had this last decade that's been exceptionally dry. And we have far more insight than we would get from the standard 3-year study that most people do. In many respects, what we're dealing with is what people are predicting will happen, but we've actually seen what happens, and we know that the populations go through a natural cycle when they undergo poor years and bad years, but with more and more bad years, low rainfall years, the populations are starting to suffer and decline.
Professor Mike Bull knows lizards well. He's made many pioneering discoveries about sleepy lizards and, more recently, pygmy blue-tongue lizards, rediscovered after they'd been declared extinct and now on the endangered list.
A sleepy is born alive very late in the autumn. We know that they choose a single partner, and we've got some pairs for over 20 years. This has never been recorded in any other reptile anywhere in the world before we started doing this, so it was a kind of a revolution in understanding about social interactions in lizards.
Professor Bull's research into lizard ecology has just been recognised by the award of the Virco Medal, the highest award of the Royal Society of South Australia.
The Virco Medal is an indication of a science career, I think, an input into science in general, South Australian natural science. And I think it's given to me for a lifetime of work on lizard ecology and conservation.
It's a profession he recommends.
Ecologists are kind of at the stage of medicine a few hundred years ago. Medical science has now worked out how the body works, and we're at the stage where doctors can actually solve and cure diseases and things. What we really should be aiming at is as ecologists, is trying to get to that point in ecology where we can actually know how the ecosystems work. We're just at a fundamental level at the moment, scratching the surface.